welcome to the most ill-conceived business podcast around, the Business of Bullshit podcast. I'm James Hornick. Joining me are two guys. You guys look tired. Are we burned out? Is that what's happening right now?
Tired?
Yeah.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Oh, I thought this was about car burnouts. This is.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Oh, you prepped for the wrong thing. Yeah. Jared Gibson, John Sirakis. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, good to see you, John.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? A little burnout. It's a Friday going into Thanksgiving week. I'm sure people listen to this the week before Christmas, but whatever.
A little R&R before.
Yeah. So yes, if you haven't picked up on the context clues, we are talking about burnout today and why it isn't bullshit. Before we do that, topical, because I did have a psychological phenomenon I wanted to share with everyone based upon some trolling I did this morning. Yes, I just said that. So long story short, those of you who know me, I'm not on LinkedIn as much as I used to be. I'm probably posting something once a week, then I'm putting this on there. But I still have number 3 sarcastic rank commenter right there in my tagline. So people should know, if they have a brain, that I'm joking. It's amazing how many times people don't get that. So Jared, so your co-founder Brandon posted something about M dashes, and do you want to summarize his post? And I'm not making fun of his post or anything at all, but like just to give context of like what this whole thing brought up.
Yeah, so Brandon is our CTO co-founder, and so he posts a lot about ChatGPT, AI in general, automations, and his post today, or was it today or yesterday? Yesterday was about M dashes and how, you know, everybody always talks about like, oh, that was written by ChatGPT because I can see the M dashes on it, and Brandon just kind of wrote this is how you can go into your ChatGPT profile and, you know, make sure that you put in the prompt not to include M dashes in your post, so everything will be great and you can still use ChatGPT to write your post, whatever that turns out to be. So that was the premise of it. It was more, knowing Brandon, was more of a tongue-in-cheek, like I know that this is going to get a reaction from people, so I'm going to let this bad boy go. And it did. And James was one of the first people to jump on that shit.
So, yeah. And I'm joking around with him, to remind you. And it's pretty clear when joking. So what I wrote is, I called someone out for using M dashes once. They legitimately tried to tell me, no, they use M dashes all the time. I mean, I don't know where the hell in the keyboard an M dash is. Meaning, I don't think anyone knows what the fucking M dash is. Like,
oh, yeah, I totally do.
I maintain, and you need to use like 3 keystrokes to do an M dash, by the way.
Command Shift.
No one is writing copy and as they're typing it out, just bang, M dash. Get the fuck out of here, John.
I love the M dash.
Stop.
I did.
Stop.
I love the M dash.
John, I want you to produce one piece of literature.
I've never seen you write an M dash in anything before.
I'll produce a brochure. We could probably go back into my comments. I don't know how many.
Let's go into your text messages to us. 0 M dashes.
No M dashes.
I'm not doing it in the text because I'm not trying to impress you guys. That's the only reason to use the M dash is when you're trying to impress.
Did you use it to impress? What's the difference? Why not just use a dash?
Because it's more of like a punch. It's more of like a punch.
It's because it's longer and it's...
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's more annoying.
That's the dumbest thing. So you're saying like size matters?
Let's get, hell yeah, it does.
Dumbass.
Before this...
anybody that says it doesn't, I mean, has got something to hide, literally.
All right, now here's the thing. This actually, the point I want to make here has nothing to do with M dashes at all. Like, this is just kind of a side topic, but in my mind, it's pretty clear that 99.99% of the M dashes on the internet are AI driven. It's just they use M dashes.
Now they are. Yes.
Yeah. Now they are. So I did not realize that was I did not realize a self-deprecating comedic comment was going to actually catch some hate, because what I forgot is that 0.001% of M dashes are actually written by what I call punctuation trolls. Yes, people who come from a background, maybe in English literature, maybe they're a copywriter. Nothing is wrong with these things, by the way. Maybe they're, any of these kind of like writing-centric things that it's like that, well, actually, there is a right way to use an M dash. And then they get like indignant.
Do you mean whomever? One of those people?
Those types of people. And so these guys got really, like, one person said, like, well, this comment says more about you than it does about people using M dot. I'm like, what are we talking about? Yeah, so I go back and forth. I said to the first person, like, you know, you missed the joke. Cool, no worries. Like, I wasn't ready to go all in. Then I started posting memes that kept firing back. But I'm like, what is happening here? Like, why is anyone, like, getting this upset? And I realized something, because this is getting to the point of what I actually want to talk about. Because this is actually something I realized about myself and other people a couple years ago when I heard about this concept.
Did you talk about how this has nothing to do with our topic today?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with the topic. This is just the interview.
Okay.
So we're getting to the point. Negativity bias. So there's a cognitive bias where ambiguous statements are taken as negative instead of whatever the intention actually was. Meaning people hear something and they don't understand what the context was. It's no one's fault. Maybe the speaker, maybe you came into a conversation late. Maybe you don't know the two people who were joking around. Like in this case, I'm joking around with Brandon who made the post. Like we both get that we're joking. Or maybe the speaker was unclear in what they were trying to get across. But regardless, like ambiguous statements happen all the time. You hear them every single day. There are people who immediately assume the worst and the most ill intent behind the statement, as opposed to taking a step back, trying to read the room, trying to understand, trying to ask a question, or assuming there was nothing negative or whatever. This happens a lot. And I can even say before
I have a theory on why.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Want to hear?
Well, I do know there is a reason why, but go ahead. I want to hear your theory.
I think it's almost like, prehistoric like tribism, right? Like if we're all communal and we're trying to like move like a group of people towards something, I think it's literally like a safety mechanism or efficiency where people are like, bad idea, fuck that guy, get him out of the way. It's almost like it's like a protective measure.
What the internet told me is it's a sign of either anxiety or depression.
The nicest way of saying, nah, fucking way. No. I mean, yeah. I got nothing other than me just,
I think what you're saying is more people who instantly reject ideas, people get defensive. Yes. This is like you hear a statement that you don't understand and you assume the person saying it was attacking you or saying something bad.
So they're taking it personal, is what
they're taking a statement they don't understand personally. They're assuming that the person saying something was trying to get at them when really that didn't exist. They just didn't understand what was being said.
I think that's been around obviously forever. Social media poured gasoline on it, and that's what literally rabbit holes in the comment section.
I think it's it is like I don't know full on depression, but I can see anxiety. Like Jared, we talked, but if we can.
You guys ever heard the difference between self-compassion and self-esteem?
I don't know what self-compassion is.
Self-compassion is like where you're treating yourself like a friend, right? There's like a failure, like, hey buddy, it's okay, you'll get over it or whatever. Yeah. Self-esteem is essentially where you have to raise yourself above everybody else that's around you to feel better about yourself. Mm-hmm. So I think there's some people out there that are just, hurting. They feel shitty, and something makes them feel bad, and they're gonna try to push everybody else down.
That's anxiety, buddy.
I do think it's anxiety and depression. That's what it is. So when I realized I realized I would a lot of times just be ready to. It's the internet. Like, right, let's fucking fight, right?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
But I think being aware that this is like a cognitive bias that you have made me more chill in general, because I realized just take a beat. Like maybe I didn't understand something here, but I do think that's something if you're out there listening.
This is a good therapy session for me.
That sometimes when you hear statements, don't immediately jump to assume that someone was saying that was attacking or being negative. Maybe you just don't know where they're coming from, and maybe seek to understand that first. Anyways, moving right along, burnout. We want to. So we have a whole laundry list of topics.
We went from depression to depression.
Yeah, more depressing topics. John, this was your idea of what you want to talk about this week. I know Jared and I both have a lot of things we want to add into, but I wanted you to give you the first crack to kick us off here. Why do you think this is an important topic, and what's your high level take here?
Hey John, is there something you want to talk about? Do we need to talk about something? How are we feeling? Smile while you explain this.
Hope you don't approach your children that way. I'm not telling this guy shit. You know what I mean? Let the secrets begin. No, I think ultimately it's just something that I've experienced it throughout my entire career of just grinding like super hard and then burning out. And what I've come to learn later on in my life is just one, that I'm more of a sprinter than a marathoner. I always even hated running long distance, right? So this is something I've discovered lately, and it's just trying to appreciate that the best I can so I don't burn out. And I have been going through phases of burnout here over the last few months, but now it feels like, I'm cresting up on the wave and kind of coming at it. Doesn't mean you don't work through it. It just means that 14 hours, something that you feels like 14 hours of like focus time may have only been like 20 minutes. Like it is just a brutal slog. And now that we're getting into the holidays, everybody can rest up, and hopefully if they're dealing with burnout, maybe they'll glean something from this.
Question. No,
I'm not going to kill myself.
There he is. Welcome back, buddy. All right. Is burnout directly correlated with working too much? Do you believe that?
It can be. I don't think it's necessarily always too much. It might be on something that is unrewarding, something that you have to get through, or maybe that something has just been imposed in your sphere, your life, that you then also have to deal with in conjunction to something else. The other thing too, this is what affects me, man. Things can be going, this is going to sound manic, but whatever, like things can be absolutely awesome. I'm burning on all cylinders. Things are going great for like 8 weeks. And then you just wake up one day and you're like, dude, like all the novelty is gone. And you're just like, fuck. And you're just trying to like figure out and get it back. And you just got to really, this might sound like a little bit soft, but you got to do like some self-care. And you can't be so hard on yourself. And it's usually people that really have genuine give a damn and love to achieve specific things that I've experienced. I mean, if you're some fucking loser with a dirty yard your entire life and you dress like shit and you've never given a fuck about anything, you know, and then you're going to tell me you're burned out, it's like, dude, you are burned out. You aren't burned out. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think there's a difference.
That was violent.
Yeah, it got really heated there for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
John, take a deep breath.
Wow. Yeah, or perhaps someone just isn't passionate enough about what they're doing, John. Is that
no, I mean, just there's, you know, you may have like a family member or something, you know, where you're just like, dude, like, I mean, you know, clean up your fucking yard, man. I mean, like, there's nothing that's going to change here. I guess that's the other. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
I like how the guy from Florida is talking about dirty yards. I can just like in my mind's eye, like what the average like Florida landscape looks like. And
I'll tell you what, man. Florida probably has some of the worst architecture on the planet. I mean, it is unbelievable some of the shitty houses they've built here. It's sad. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, though. Anyway, but that's gonna turn into another conversation.
I think that actually, Jared, why don't you jump in here? I don't want to.
Yeah, why don't you say?
I don't want to step on.
I mean, if I look back on my career, I probably would say that I've experienced burnout twice. And I didn't know what was going on until like after I actually talked to people about like, hey, that was burnout, what you were going through. And a lot of it didn't have to do with, that's why I asked you that question, with working too much. It was just trying to do too many things. And then literally when I would come up for air, just realize that like, I don't even know what I just did. Like, what was the point of all of that I just did? But one of the, I did look up because I was curious what the AMA has to say about burnout. What are the symptoms?
American Marketing Association?
Jared doing his research.
A little medical.
I like how Jared's doing his own podcast for work, right? And now he's more highly attuned to doing research and preparing for these podcasts. Now I love it.
So go with Jared Gibson.
Hosting a podcast is very hard. Showing up like you and I do, John, is very easy. All right. So there's four main symptoms according to the American Medical Association. Emotional exhaustion. So being drained before the day even starts every single day, even like small tasks seem heavy. Depersonalization. So you start getting really cynical and detached, and feeling like you're just going through the motions with people. And that's kind of what I just hit on. That's what I tied back to. Decreased personal achievement. So, you know, that is what it is. You're doing a lot, but it feels like none of it matters or none of it counts. And then lack of empathy. I mean, these are all things that we've kind of already hit on. Your compassion tank is very empty, and you could give two shits about pretty much what other people are thinking.
I think that's most of society when the economy is depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I come at it from, I want to kind of jump in on a couple things here. I think mechanically, a lot of I'm coming from the angle that I've worked in recruiting for a long time. I've talked to lots of people who worked at lots of companies who are fucking unhappy as shit with their jobs. Like, that was my life for the better part of 20 years, is having conversations with people who don't like what they're doing. Yeah, unpaid therapists that can't actually solve
Can you
their
picture
problems.
James, though? Can you picture people going to James with their problems and James actually fucking helping them?
Dude,
James,
I picture him on the phone
very empathetic.
in like the early thousands, scribbling on his pad, like...
But I think but seriously, look at corporate America and all the stereotypes that exist, and it doesn't take hard to kind of see this stuff. Like, there's definitely like a level of control paradox. You've got people out there who, they have a lot of responsibility, they have little control over the outcomes. A lot of times they don't really have, you're on salary, you're not actually on any kind of meaningful, like, people who don't have equity or some sort of cash out or some sort of like or the ability to kind of change or dictate their work. Maybe their boss is a fucking moron. Targets are moving all the time.
Or their boss is sexually harassing them, and
Yeah.
they're just making them feel marginalized and like shitty.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that add to it. Like I think we mentioned this once in a podcast a while ago. The book Bullshit Jobs. I hope you guys read that. It's a fantastic book, by the way. But that's one of the major premises of it is that like when you're subconsciously like when you're just not happy with your work, or it's meaningless, or you have no impact on it, like you're not going to like it, and you're going to like yourself less. That's part of it. Or even if you're working, maybe you like the work, but the company's bullshit. Like they're not actually doing anything tangible that like fixes the world or changes the world, has like a real impact. Like these things are going to lead to like your own levels of how much you give a fuck whether you want to or not, which there turns into burnout anyway.
But that was all burnout is negative. I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
But everything you just said there is literally toward negativity. I think that people can be doing really good work, working in a job that they love, like doing good things, building good things, whatever that is, and still burn out because they're trying to do too much and they're not listening to their body. Listening to their body meaning like they may be getting 8 hours of sleep, but it's awful sleep, so they wake up exhausted. Or
dude, one you could be having everything perfect and still get burned out. Like it's just.
Yeah,
we're not meant to. We're not meant to do like there's the Ariana Huffington or whatever. I mean, I think she like collapsed or something. Like she was over it. Granted, she might have not been getting enough sleep, but I think ultimately it's a natural thing. It's seasonal. It's cycles. Mm-hmm. You just got to figure out how to get through it. There's not necessarily a cure for it.
One of the things that I saw,
people overestimate how much they can actually get done is part of the thing too. Like I've heard that people tend to overestimate how much they can do in a day, but underestimate how much they accomplish in a year or a week or month or whatever it is. But placing unreasonable expectations on what you can actually get done today is what drives you to work harder than you need to past that point of diminishing returns.
One of the things that I did look up because I'm a big researcher now is one of the things that comes with is burnout is like poop issues. Like your stomach is basically like your second brain. I'm serious.
We're going to poopy jokes. Poopy jokes.
I couldn't believe you were going to go into this, but continue.
You mean constipation?
But it is like it could be constipation. It can be random bloating. It can be nausea. We talked about that with Ariana Huffington. But like people that have like bowel problems. Like that is one of those big symptoms of your body's telling you.
You need to tell us something, Jared?
You're breaking down.
Are you okay?
I've gone poop twice today. I'm good to go, buddy.
All right, that's regular.
Yeah, that's a healthy adult move.
Yeah, lots of fiber. Good for you.
And James wants to keep talking about this. James,
really,
how many times have you dumped today? How many times have you dumped today, James?
Let's just continue with what are we doing here, guys?
Can't have James hates being vulnerable in this podcast. John,
I'd rather not be hosting a poo podcast, guys. Let's continue moving on.
He called the shit poop.
There we go.
It's
movie quote.
It's a symptom.
Get us back.
It's part of what we're talking about today. If you're uncomfortable with it, that means that you're just not ready to have grown up conversations.
No, I think we can shift on. But no, I think.
Thank you, John. Wow, John is the one wanting us to move on.
Well, he saved me earlier. I got to save him. I think ultimately, though, there is a listening that we need to have, and that's one thing I believe I'm getting better at. Like, it's just like the regulating. It's like, all right, I know I'm coming up to a phase that. Here's an example. I used to book, especially sales meetings, just back to back to back to back, literally all. And I had a buddy that was sharing an office with me. A CEO. He's been a CEO of a few fantastic companies and a few not so fantastic companies. But I walked out and I was like, woo, like ready for lunch. And he's like, hey man, he's like, you can't do that. And I was like, what? He's like, you can't go meeting to meeting to meeting. He's like, you're literally going to burn yourself out. And sure enough, dude, it was probably like a few weeks later I argued with him, it was all kind of like high five, I'm grinding. And that's exactly what happened. So now I try to give as much space as I can between take breaks and just be, God, I hate saying it, but like just be more compassionate to myself to just take care of myself and not do that because you're not giving it, what you're doing is you're just giving yourself away to everybody else. And it's not like that they don't care about you, but they don't even know to care about you, to tell you when you get on the meeting, like, dude, did you have a 15-minute break before this or a bagel or something?
Yeah. When you say breaks, do you mean like poop breaks?
dude, you got so loud.
Yeah, Jared, did you hit something? Like your microphone just kicked it up like 2 notches right there.
Did it? Maybe he got excited that I was talking about poop so much. Did it really?
I love this. Is his recovery?
Yeah.
Is it still?
No, now it's fine. But there's also some background noise that kicked up, and now it's like it's all right. Continue.
That was my bad joke.
That's
was
better.
a joke.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, that's good. It was a great joke.
Yelling in our ear. It's a good joke anyway. That's okay. Okay, but I'm glad you mentioned was it a bagel? I already forget, like 2 minutes ago.
It was a bagel. Yeah. It went bagel, then poop.
The food thing. So your brain does work on glycogen, you know what I mean? Like it is like, so there is some science behind that. I'd rather do the inside, like the way down science than the back end, like Jared.
Like what's your go-to snack? Like that's a good thing you brought this up. Like I have a super high metabolism. I don't look anorexic for any other reason. But I have to have like snacks, and like my go-to snacks. So I got that high-end epic beef jerky now. I literally have a bag of like a $50 bag over there with like a bunch of different ones in there.
Go-to snack? I don't know.
What's your go? You guys don't have a go-to snack?
I have kids, so there's always goldfish around. So I'll grab a handful of goldfish.
God, those are nasty.
No, they're not.
Goldfish and Cheez-Its. When I was a kid, I just drank too much.
I don't like Cheez-Its. I don't like Cheez-Its. Yeah. Goldfish is good, but I would say like I like those hidden or the Valley, whatever those Valley bars.
The granola ones.
Yeah, the granola bars. I like those. That's a nice go-to for me. With the double stack ones.
Something like that. There's probably a couple bars that I like. I can't remember the brand names off the top of my head. Doesn't matter.
But I think it's important. Like you got to know yourself.
Granola things in our house, like what's the bag full of little chunks? Those are good too.
Yeah. I think it's just having your fuel around you, whatever that may be. And yeah, food's a super important one.
Cocaine.
That's my snack. Yeah. Little Peruvian bang bang. Yeah. Little Bolivian red flake.
Wait,
is that what we're
James,
talking about?
James, what have you? Is there a time in your career where you've experienced burnout, like a specific example that you can recall?
Not until 2 minutes ago with the poop jokes.
Yeah, that's what got me. I think that everyone kind of goes through from time to time. I don't know that I've ever had like a full-on meltdown, you know what I mean? But there's been plenty of times where it's like, I think that I've always been able to recognize that.
I don't know if meltdown's fair to burnout.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever been burned? Of course I've been burned out. Like I never had a point where I'm like, shit, I got to take a month off from work. But there have definitely been times where, let me back this up. I've always felt, and I still maintain, that you're better off working 20 or 30 or whatever hours a week at top form with your A game where you're actually accomplishing something versus just grinding through a 40 or 50 hour week because all those extra hours are just kind of aimless. You know, you're not actually accomplishing anything or doing anything. So when I was at Hirewell, like in general, we always had a lot of autonomy to kind of manage like our days and how we kind of structure things. And there's definitely times where I would like absolutely grind, and other days where like, you know, I'm kicking off early because like I'm spent for the day, you know, and like you don't. I think this is one of my gripes with the corporate world in general. Like we talk about things come up with 4-day work weeks and work from home, and the people who are very against those things because senior management people just want to have a full office full of people working from like it's a factory floor from clock in, clock out time, as opposed to focusing on outcomes. Now, everyone likes to talk about outcomes because it makes them sound smart that we want to achieve things, but really they just want people like watching the clock, and that's what they end up getting. But it's not conducive to actually doing your best work, and part of doing your best work is making sure you don't get burned out, and part of making sure you don't get burned out is making sure like you have the autonomy of, okay, I'm going to grind from this time, I'm going to chill it and kick it for this rest of this time, and it's completely up for me to decide that based upon how my body feels.
And I think the one point you're making there, and something I totally agree with, it's energy management. It's not time management. We've always been taught, even as kids, like, oh, it's time management. And granted, I still calendar. It's a big part. It's one of the tools I use the most. But in there, it's knowing yourself and when you're going to have the energy to best execute so you can get those outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I schedule certain things during the afternoon and certain things in the morning because I know that it's not going to work for me if I do like activities that I should not be doing late in the day. I should be doing that first thing in the morning. Burnout story. I used to work in, and this is the first time I think I witnessed what real burnout was. I used to work at Crane's, Chicago business, as you guys know, doing ad sales back in the day. And I used to take day trips to New York, because we would meet with big media agencies out in New York City. So I would go into New York, I would schedule like 4 or 5 meetings, and I would fly back home. Long days. But when I would walk into those media agencies, every single person, from the receptionist to who I was meeting with, to the people I would see in the halls, to the people that were behind their desk, looked miserable. And you could just, those are the people that they were just going through burnout. And like, you would talk to anybody and they were like, it's almost like you'd be talking right through them, because they were already on to the next thing that was the next thing. And it was pure chaos. And I just couldn't imagine ever working in an environment like that, where it was just, everybody looked miserable. Nobody was happy. It was pure chaos.
But those careers pages said work-life balance on them too.
Yeah, they probably did. Probably did.
Yeah, they got bean bags, they got a ping pong table, but you guys won't know.
Part of it too is it's just such an OG culture, that older generations glorified the fact that they fucking hated their jobs and worked them anyway, because that's what people are supposed to do. Like, that's that mentality that everyone always had.
Dude, I never knew OG stood for older generation until now. You just said it. I thought it was old gangster.
I thought it was original gangster.
It was original.
I thought it was original gangster.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but people who are like, wore it as a badge of honor that like, hey, I worked 50 hours a week. It's still that way in a lot of industries, like the financial service industry. It's still like grind, work 80 hours a week just because we can make you do it. And if you want to have a job here, it's what you have to do. And it's just a really bizarre and backward way of looking at the world, which is why, despite all this conversation we're having, I have very little nothing's going to change. Like there's something about our work culture that feels permanent in how everyone can ingest this and know that what we're saying is right, but when it comes to impacting change, like in the real world, they still won't fucking do anything.
No, I think cultures are different too. Different cultures, like there's cultures in Europe, certain European cultures, like. We have clients over there. We'll need like a response to something, and we're on top of it. And they're just like, "Yeah, we'll get to it. I'm gonna go outside and ride my bike for the next 3 hours, and when I come back, if I remember, I'll get to it. If not, I'll get to it next week." It's just a completely different culture.
Counterpoint to that, that's why we have nicer things.
I think Americans are. I think they're the hardest working culture. We take the least amount of holidays. I mean, we grind harder than anybody else. But I think also to that. Cultures change. When I first started, dude, I celebrated that I could like smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, sleep, 4 hours a night, do 12 double shots of espresso, and then you learn. You're like, yeah, that's not healthy, man. Like that doesn't work. So I think ultimately it's all about like the individuals that change, and if this has like a small impact where somebody makes one little tweak, it can have immense positive outcomes from that.
Well, I think I agree. It's an issue that should be looked at top down across corporate America, but unfortunately, it's a personal issue that you have to take in your own hands because.
Agreed. And look at the people that you work for. Like there's, I worked, for some people that, dude, they one guy, he's still an insane grinder. Like I don't even know if he sleeps. I was like, is he scheduling his emails to go out at me at certain times? And you're up late at night, you're like, let's see. Boom, you fire one back and then no, he responds instantly. You're like, geez. There's some people that like that. And the agencies that you're going to, Jared, like I knew guys that, it was 7 days a week. They literally had no life. They got some awards and they got some accolades and some attention from it, but dude, no life, man.
Grinders, we've talked about this before. I just think there's burnout affects everybody differently. Like some people's threshold for burnout is very different than others. So when you see that, like I'm sure those people are burnt out, but they may not have hit that threshold or breaking point yet and realize it. Whereas other people, like I had to work 10 hours yesterday. That's their burnout. That's it. Usually they're working 6-7 hours a day. So I don't know. I think everybody's different.
And to everybody else inside, this is a very important message. If you're taking all of your like motivational advice from athletes and people in sports, they have seasons. They get to take a huge chunk off, right? So don't sit there and like Kobe Bryant's thing or whatever. Like, oh man, he's gonna practice and shoot 10,000 shots over a weekend or something. Take that with a granted inspirational guy. He achieved a lot, but you're playing a completely different sport. But you're playing a completely different sport, and you don't get that time off.
And all this they have everyone to take care of all their other shit in their life. You know,
Totally.
They have the money to like a lot of the strains that normal people have to go through. They don't have to deal with.
Right. Yeah. You get 2 days off if you're lucky. You know.
Dude, I had bad. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
You ruined it. It's fine. I want. What's the next poop joke? Let's just get to it.
How's your gut health?
Gut health is important, though, man. I don't want to overlook
gut health
that.
is good. No, I got my burnout. I got a good burnout story. It was COVID, the COVID burnout. Did you guys have, like, for us, it was, we had 2 young kids. Both of us were working crazy hours.
I was in Florida. It was like a long
weekend,
and then COVID was over.
No, I was living my best life into COVID. I'm gonna be honest. First time I was working home 5 days a week. No kids around the house.
Changed his bio, you know.
But the company I work for, I love the company, but we supported small businesses. We were an outsourced HR, a PEO. And I ran marketing. So COVID hits, and I just started like 3 or 4 months before. COVID hits, and like our clients were depending on us to get a message after message, and we didn't know what was going on out. Like, we have to get this out. We have to put on this webinar today. We have to do this webinar, and I'm in charge of all of this for the company. And I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck we do as a company, let alone like understand the problems that our clients are having with all this, with going on with PPP and COVID and the shutdown. Amy is an employment attorney, so she's got her clients just leaning on her, and we have 2 young kids, and we're living in this like duplex down in Bucktown. And I remember like we would not talk to each other. We would get up in the morning, go do our thing. Like, we would figure out the calendars the night before. Like, can you watch the kids at this point? No, I can't. I have this call. Okay, well, I'll put the kids in the background on this. And it was literally that we would pass each other. We would see each other at night when we went to bed at like 9 or 10, and then we would do that on repeat the next day. And there came a point after like a week or 2 weeks of that where both of us were just like, we just broke down. We were fucking done, drained. Like, we had to take a step back. It was brutal. And that was like, I think the first time that I was like shaking, experiencing like what it all ultimately led to. It was tough going through that. No, I mean, listen, a lot of people went through a lot worse, but that was my burnout experience, my first one.
I thought it was going to be a happy story. You did. I got to do it.
The fucking topic is burnout. What kind of happy story?
I guess I'm optimistic. I mean, what can I say?
It succeeded. Everything went great. We saved a lot of small businesses.
We didn't know each other. Because I was like, you're in Bucktown. I'm still in my same place in Ukrainian Village here. I mean, my COVID experience had go take a walk.
Was I gonna ask you to come over and watch the fucking
take
kids
a walk
you love kids
with
so
a beer and just fucking chill? Like, you know, that was my COVID experience. So, yeah.
James, bring your beer over. Watch my kids. You were just laughed at. Your love of kids.
Yeah, I would have waved you from the front door. Hey, buddy, life choices. Have fun.
That's right. Yeah, everybody up there was like super afraid of everybody, right? Like, it was like super quarantine.
Up there while you were down before. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I remember the first day, I think when everything shut down, nobody knew what was going on. I have a picture of myself wearing gloves and a mask at Mariano's, like getting food, and I like didn't want to touch anything because I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I would see people walking our duplex down, like in the front door, and I would go out with like wipe-its and like wipe down the door. Dude, it was... Well, that lasted about 2 weeks.
The first few weeks we didn't know if it was how it was.
Yeah, some people were pretty scared. I think the biggest, this sounds weird, the thing I remember the most was people were freaking out about like the Adderall shortage. I had a buddy call me and he's like, I didn't realize my daughter was taking so much Adderall. Do you know somebody? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, that's just such a weird request, you know what I mean? I guess it was like a huge deal.
It was toilet paper everywhere else except for Florida's Adderall. Yeah.
Oh yeah, toilet paper. Yeah, and the other thing is like the smokers that wore the masks and they would have like a hole right there.
Dude, I used to jog on the 606 during COVID, and I'm not running while wearing a mask. I'm just not doing it. And I would be running, and somebody would be running the other way with a mask on, and just like. I was deplorable to them. Like they would yell at me for not having a mask on the 606 while running.
Yeah. They're also driving in their car by themselves wearing a mask.
Yeah. That's really my favorite move.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were burning out. That's how we tie it back.
I think we're burning out this podcast.
Back to COVID. All podcasts eventually go back to the COVID era. Anyway. All right, what else, you guys? Anything else on this one? I'm looking through the notes. Anything you want to hit up here? Felt like we covered it pretty good.
I think we covered it pretty good. I don't know why my voice got high there, but no, I think we covered it pretty good.
Yeah, I just have the other notes I have is decision fatigue, irritability, brain fog, loss of joy, overreacting to small problems. Actually, that's one. Overreacting to small problems is one that.
That's a good point.
The smallest things, if you're burnt out, like, or stressed out, whatever it is, like, you will overreact to the dumbest shit. I've seen people do it, and when I'm like, whoa, that person just snapped because of that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the other thing too is, like, this is maybe like prevention. Don't care so much. Like, just don't. Like, if the people that like care, like, think about like social workers and like all of these other jobs, like, their burnout is super high, man. I mean, that's a super tough job. But I think the less that we care about things, the better it'll be. But granted, it's a balance. There's harmony there, right? I mean, it's like you still got to go pick up your kids from soccer. I mean, I didn't care. I mean, granted, but I mean, let the little stuff go. The pens and some of those things. For instance, I used to push really hard against my team with certain things, and then now I'm like, what's the net benefit? All right, they're going to figure it out either way. Like we used to go round and round about something in meetings. I'd say the last 5 years, it's just like, okay, you guys are going to figure it out.
Or is that just you not giving a shit anymore?
Well, I wouldn't say it's mailing it in. I think there's a part where it's their job. They need to own it, and there's an outcome that's associated to it. So if they need to figure it out by doing it the incorrect way, if I believe it's that, they're gonna figure that out. It's not that important. Choose your battles.
You brought up social worker. My mom was she worked for Children's Services and AIDS Holistic Services when I was growing up. Children's Services, I remember.
Did you say AIDS?
AIDS Holistic Services. Yeah, during like the AIDS pandemic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
But the Children's Services one, I remember, she would come home from work, and I was young, but I remember like her and my dad just talking, my mom just crying like 3 or 4 times a week. Just burnt out, having to like see all the stuff because she goes into people's houses and everything. And I remember it was one year on Christmas Eve, because they used to go out and deliver presents to kids on Christmas Eve in like really bad areas. And she was miserable one morning on Christmas morning when I was a little kid. I was like, oh, why are you so sad, whatever. And she was just like, and it was just, I think it had all caught up to her. So yeah, those roles, those jobs, like, so I'm complaining about running marketing for like an outsourced HR company. That's fucking burnout.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's your environment too, man. Like that's. So did she like retire from that job, or did she get burned out, quit, and then get a job at Starbucks or something?
She went from Children's Services to AIDS Holistic Services. So she was, because she wanted, but she's big on for the cause. She was a child of the '60s. Yeah. So she was like, how can I help? Weed. Literally, she was here part of the Grant Park thing. She got kicked out of school up at Bear, which is this college that's not here, all-female college, North Shore of Chicago, because she was down protesting too much. But so that's just like her nature.
And shit like that. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, 100%. She was definitely burning bras. So that's just her nature. But like, how can I jump on and help the next person? And it's like, when the AIDS pandemic happened, she was all over that. That was her purpose at that point.
I don't think as a kid anything terrified me more than AIDS.
I mean, that was our era. That was a big fear point.
So scary.
I mean, it was scary, but like, I remember. I think that, like in the 80s and 90s, it was a different level of fear around it than there is now. By light years.
Yeah,
everyone was going to get AIDS from looking at
yeah, totally. Hey, you want to have sex one day? Fucking AIDS. Okay, that's your future.
100% of the time, you're definitely getting AIDS.
I ask you guys on my podcast, what's the last thing that scared you? If one of you would have just said 8, I don't know if I could.
Well, there's like a cure for it now. I mean, Charlie Sheen's got it. I mean, Magic Johnson, is richer now with.
Well, that was the thing, is we all thought Magic only had like a year to live, and he's like, cured. Once Easy E like went down quick, it was like,
Literally, yeah. I mean, he I love this joke from when I was a kid. I remember this kid that told me. I remember exactly where I was. I was like, I don't know, probably 8 years old.
Yeah, here we go.
Hey, man, we call Magic Johnson in a wheelchair. I was like, what's that? It's like Rolaids.
It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be honest with you.
It's not, because I legit think I remember that one.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
All right. That's a wrap for episode 26 of the Business of Bullshit podcast. Catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. James Hornick, Jared Gibson, John Soraka signing off and reminding you that business is bullshit.
Be safe out there.